Okay, good morning, Chuck L. Bell. Getting ready to go on this trip to Aruba, so I wanted to give you guys some information so you can go out and sell. On the last video, we talked about some different approaches that you can go out and cold call customers and build your lead list. Uh, just go ahead and show you a lead list that we already have together here, which I'm going to be using in our presentation. And you can write down your lead list on an Excel sheet just like this. In fact, I uploaded a Excel sheet and shared it with all of our sales reps. But what I want to talk about today is a couple of options that you can give to a merchant once you sell them on the appointment and doing an analysis on their statement. Now, you should be able to do an analysis on a statement. There's three things that you need to know. One is what's their effective rate, and how you get your effective rate is by knowing what the sales volume is and knowing what their current fees are, their total current fees, and you take the current fees and divide it by their sales volume. You want to make sure that you're looking at the fees that are paid on a particular sales volume. Sometimes American Express is done separately from Visa, MasterCard, and Discover. Sometimes, very rarely now, I think, but you might even find Visa, MasterCard on one statement, a Discover statement, and an American Express statement. So just pay attention, just look at the sales volume, see what kind of fees are being taken out on the statement for American Express. Is it just a transaction fee? If it is, it's done by a third party, which is American Express. But if it's the 1-point program, what they're doing is putting everything on one statement. They're going ahead and charging the fees and then charging American Express. So you'll run across that. But the new program we have is called the OptBlue program. And with the OptBlue program, we can control the interchange rates on American Express just like we do, well, the markup above the interchange rates on American Express. So generally speaking, in the past, a retail customer is 3.25%. You can look in your sales manual. I think there is a sheet on American Express in there. And for restaurants, it was 3.5%. Now we're getting buy rates down to 1.5%, 1.85%. But you have to add in your dues and assessments just like you do on Visa, MasterCard, which is a 0.15%, and then I think there's a bin fee of 0.20%. So, for example, if you were starting with like a restaurant, I know off the top of my head already that it's a 1.85%. You can see that on the interchange chart. You would add 15 basis points to bring it 2%, and then you'd go to 20 basis points for the bin fee, which bring it up to 2.20%. Now you got 2.02% cost compared to a 3.5% in the past. And so we can build some profit in there. Say we could take it to 2.5%, 2.65%, and make 40 basis points or 20 basis points, 30 basis points, and that profit we can get paid on that residual, whereas in the past we couldn't do that. So one of the most important points is on American Express we can control your rate and get it down close to Visa MasterCard rate. A lot of customers like that. I've noticed that every time I talk about that, they have a keen interest in that. It's hard to get a merchant interested in saving them money on just the Visa MasterCard because everybody does that. So, and then the other key point that I mentioned earlier, in the approach, is that we can put it all in one statement. They can get funded next day, whereas American Express in the past has taken up to 72 hours to be funded. So that's very important also. These are just some points to remember when you're out selling about American Express. Also, I put on there the interchange rates for Visa, MasterCard, and Discover. It's in a folder called RevShare. And of course, you know how that works. There's 4 people involved with the transaction. There is the issuing bank, there is the brand, Visa, MasterCard, or association brand, and then there's the network, whether it's TSYS, First Data, or Global, which are the main ones we work with. We're actually going to be working with WorldPay also, and the final is the processor, and that would be the sales organization that actually funds the merchant, or takes on the risk for the merchant. So the bank takes the risk for the customer. The brand association, they do all the marketing, the branding, all the fees for that. And then the network is the one that does the authorization settlements that has to be paid. And then the processor for the risk on the merchant side, and then to pay their agents and to manage that aspect of it. So those are the 4 people involved with the transaction. So we were talking about the things that you need to know when you get a merchant statement. Is you need to know what their current effective rate is, and what their sales volume is. Well, their current effective rate equals their fees that they paid. Determine their total fees. You dig down into the statement and see if American Express is being funded along with Visa, MasterCard. If it is, then you want to include that in your effective rate. So, for example, we were working with Teresa and I were working with Harris Automotive, and I just kind of jotted down some information here, on this. But basically, I don't know if you can see this, if it's zoomable or not, but Harris was doing about $23,105, and you'll notice here it says $323.68 is the fees that were taken out on this quarter. But this is a little bit tricky. Some of these statements are tricky because if you dig into this, the fees are $349.40, and that's over here in a section that says future. Those are future fees that they're taking out. So these fees here actually represent the previous month, and the fees for this period is going to be taken out in the future. So I took those fees, the future fees, divided by their sales volume. Again, you want to check and make sure that American Express, how it is funded, with this account. But anyway, when I divide that out, he has an effective rate of a 1.51%. A 1.51%. That sounds really good. So now on our sales, the programs that we're offering, we're giving a merchant 2 options on this. The option is you can do our cashback program. It's called a cashback rebate program. And the way you describe this cashback program is it works just like Discover, like a Discover card. Customers get, when they spend money on their Discover card, they get cash back. Now for the credit card, it's to encourage them, to use their Discover card, and and it's all based upon volume. Well, our cash back is also based upon volume also. What we're doing is, the more customers that we bring on board, the more sales volume that we do, and then we can share that with the customer. And I've got a chart and the way everything's laid out. But here's a way that you can analyze this here real quickly. We're going to offer them a 5% upfront savings. And if they want to choose a 5% up front and then get on the cashback program, you take 5% times this $349, and that comes out to be $17.49. So, or roughly, that's what I have marked on here. So 5% times $349.80, $17.49. So you're going to save at least $17. But we're going to put you in the cashback program. It's going to even save you an additional, dollars. Option number 2 is that we can say, option number 2 is we can go just save you up front 15 basis points, and when you do 15 basis points, it actually doubles your savings of $34.65. But then there's a bunch of additional fees at $26.72. So when you add those two together, your savings would be $60 rather than $17.49. And that $60 a month saving, would be like $724 yearly, $2,173 for a 3-year contract. So I got this all previously figured out from the statement. Now, how do I come up with saving them 15%? Well, we have an effective rate sheet, and let me see if I printed that off. Okay, well, what you want to do is you want to take the effective rate sheet, and I do not see my effective rate sheet. Let's see. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to stop the video and get my effective rate sheet, and I will start again.